foretold around the hearthside at matin of fact, hailed chimers Erskine, foe permanent, fum in his mouth, a Wykin wave resurging into crest, victis penis hesternis, fast fath of solas, from choicest of wiles with warmen and songs till bonbe, burial arranging. Under Articles 39 of the Reconstitution, by the Lord's order of the canon consecrandable, earth lost that we thought him, pest or nost, the none-known warrior, from Tumbarumba mountain, in percents of whole land slots, for be all the rashers, sire of leery sobs of dub, the diggins wooden henge, as to hang out at, with Spanish oil full his angalach, the Sausenach, no more sulfido salama mordaman, the big bruiser, furt and fort, gunner of the gunnings gunned, one of the 2 or 3 4 5est fellows a bloke could in holiday crowd encounter, benedicted by the barrel, kilderkins, lids off, a roach, an oxmaster, a sort of heaps, a pamphilius, a vintivat nivisini, a hygienic contrivance so called from the editor, the thick of your thigh, you knox, quite, talking to the vicar's joy and ruth, the Grenwoid and Gloob in broking by the Maybole guards, he, when no crane in Elga is heard, up out to speak this lay, without links, without impediments, with gigantogyres, with free-floor forms, parasama to himself, atman as evers, whom otherwise, because as no puler as of old, but as of young a palatine, whitelock, not lacked, nor temperasolion, though he appears a funny colour, stoters some, but quite a big bug after the dahlias, place inspectorum sergeant, also the hollow chist escapement, astronomically fabula figures, as Jambudvispa Vipra foresaw of him, the last half-versicle repurchasing his pawned word, Soren split and paddy patched, and for to finish our fun of a fan colding the kettle mickwhite, sure, straight, slim, sturdy, serene, synthetical, swift. By the Antar of Jesus, Rus made him worthily achieve inherited wish. The drops upon that mantle rained never around Fingal. Gout, Lachlan salts, will make a new man if any worn. So? La, Lamfada's arm, it has coincidences. You mean to see we have been having a sound night's sleep? You may so. It is just about to roly-holy over. Slap, slap. Of all the stranger things that ever, not even in the 100 pageants of 1001 nights, or in Eddas and Odds books of Tomb, Dyke and Hollow, to be have happened. The entireties of lives living being the one substance of the streams becoming, totaled in told-telled and telled-told in tittle-tell-tattle. Why? Because, graced be gad and all giddy gadgets, in whose words were the beginnings, there are 2 signs to turn to, the yest and the east, the right side and the wrong side, feeling a slip and walking up, so on, so forth. Why? On the sword side, we have the Moskios Gin Palace, with its twin adjacencies, the bathhouse and the bazaar. Allah, Allah, Allah. And on the Sponta side, it is the Alcovan and the Rose Garden, boony naughty, all puriputri. Why? One's a purpose a story about Brid and Breckfields, and parry combating and couche-couche, but others is of thulls and outworn buyings, dolings and chatterings in heat, contest and enmity. Why? Every talk has his stay, witness Shavar San Giovanna, and all a dreams, perhapsing on the luck sloop at last are through. Why? It is a sort of a swig-swag, systemy-distemy, which everybody you ever anywhere at all does. Why? Such me. And hops a drowsy. Look, a shaft of chivalry in the act, an elancinant. Cold sleuth, violence. Where did thoughts come from? It is infinitesimally fevers, resty fever, risy fever, a coranto of aria, sleep or awakening, in the smalls of one's back presentiment, jip, and again jip, a flash from a future of maybe Mahamayability, through the winder of a wonder in a wilder as a welter as a wirble of a warble as a world. Tom, it is perfect degrees Excelsius, a jala deu still stilleth. Cloud lay, but mackerel are, anemone activescent, the temperature is returning to normal. Humid nature is feeling itself freely at ease with the al fresco. The vervain is to herald as the grass administers. They say, in effect, they really say, you have eaten fruit, say hoot. You have snacked mid a fish, tell whish. Every those personal place objects, if none things wheresoevers, and they just done been doing being in a dromo of todos, withouten a bound to be your trowers. For swindle, you hauled him by the tap of the tang. Not a salutary syllable sound is sent. Instead for a steer adrift with a draught, noctambulumbumus wanderwards the Nile. Victoria's Neanders, Albert's Neanders. It was a long, very long, a dark, very dark, an Albert on end, scarce endurable, and we could add mostly quite various and somewhat stumble-tumbling night. Endy, descendi, dew, the has-goning at gone, the is coming to come. Greets to Gaston, high to morning, dormidi destiny, doom is the feast. Well down, good other. Now day, slow day, from delicate to divine devices. Padma, brighter and sweet stuff. This flower that bells, it is our hour of risings. Tickle, tickle, lotus spray. Till here next, adya. Take thanks to Tana. In that European end meets end. There is something supernatural about whatever you called him. Pan Pan and Vin Vin are not alone to Van Van and Pin Pin in your tamal without tears, but simply solely they are they. This otter followeth that other fellow. Him, Kim, Kim, Kim. All yester loves may be as stale as a stub, and the picture go to aftums on the wall. Mildew, murk, leak, and yarn now want the bad that they lied on. And your last words to date in comparative acoustomology are going to tell stretch of a fancy through strength towards joyance, adjutants, where he gets up. Allay for allay, a threat for a throat. Tim, to them in Isat Loka, hearing, the herb it orbs, then's now with now's then intense continuant, heard, who having has, he shall have had. Here, upon the thud stroke struck, Jim, it will be exactly so fewer hours by so many minutes of the oak, of the diurn, of the senite, of the manad, of the year, of the age, of the Madame Manvantura, of gross guy and little lady, our hugibus hugibum, and our wee mother, acta man house trueth, and their childer and their neighbours and their neighbours' childers' neighbours, and their chattels and their servants and their cognants, and their ilks and their oughts and their everythings that is, be, will, was theirs. Much obliged. Time a pay. But worth, O clerk. Whither clonk? Fartman, see you not so the path they funded, our avatars that ard in himmel, Harwad Bathurnamas, the gow, the steer, the tiger, the leophant, when even thirst was at the vettles, mid trefoils slipped the sable rampant, hoof, 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 pada poda pudupedding, on fata fata fata. Here we are, signifying, if tongues may token, that, primeval conditions having gradually receded, but nevertheless the emplacement of solid and fluid having to a great extent persisted through intermittences of solemn fulminance, solemn nuptialism, solemn sepulture, and providential divining, making possible, and even inevitable, after his a time has a tense, haves and have-nots, hesitancy, at the place and period under consideration, a socially organic entity of a millenary, military, maritary, monetary, morphological circumformation in a more or less settled state of economic equilub, equilab, equilibrium. Come on, George. No more for me. Less snappy and guardsmanlike. You just get a touch of army on the stomach. To the anger at anchor. Equotins. Seaworthy. Lots thank you for polite pointings. There's the tavern in the tarn. Tip. Take Tamo Timo's topical. Tip. Brown, yet no land. Tip. Advert. Where? Cumulo nubulo cirronimbant heaven electing. The dart of desire has gored the heart of secret waters, and the poplarest wood in the entire district is being grown at present eminently adapted for the requirements of pacnic-stricken humanity. And between all the goings up and the whole of the comings down, and the fog of the cloud in which we toil, and the cloud of the fog under which we labour, bomb the things to be dumb about it, so that, beyond indicating the locality, it is felt that one cannot with advantage add a very great deal to the aforegoing by what, such as it is to be, follows. Just mentioning, however, that the old man of the sea and the old woman in the sky, if they don't say nothings about it, they don't tell us lie. The gist of the pantomime, from Cannibal King to the property horse, being, slumply and slopely, to remind us how, in this drury world of ours, Father Times and Mother Species boil their kettle with their crutch, which every lad and lass in the lane knows. Hence, Polycarp Pool, the pool of Livia, Saras the Saftas, of Medui Marge, atween Deltas Piscium and Sagittarastrion, wherein once we lived is Alve and Vale, mini-ha-haing here from higher water, a poddle bridges in a passabed, the river of lives, the regenerations of the incarnations of the emanations of the apparentations of fun and nin in Cleobala, the congdomain of the alieni and a corsair race, infester of Libnod ocean, moilamore, let it be, where Albrocht ne answer, tracking Viginet and Neinse, glad-sighted her Lynthian fall, and a teen-digging harrow turned the first sod. Sluice, caught erect, good speed the blow. Incidentally, 'tis believed that his harpened before gauge is fain, for it has to be over this booty spotch, though some hours to the wester, that ex-Colonel House's preterpost heiress is to return unto the outstretched of Dwyer O'Michael's loin sprung, the blunter-busted pike-head which his had hewn in hers, prolonged afterwards. There an alumbree begins to green, sorrine scene for love-seat, as we know that should she, for by ascensions his law so it make all. It is sainted to Vitalbas, and her little white bloomkins, twittersky trimmed, are hobgoblins' hanky-packs. Saxons like, our ancestors thought so dearly on now their going soever to Angleson, free of duties, dirt chips. There, too, a slabs slobs, immer memorial, the only in all swamp. But so bare, so boulder, brag sagging, such a burble bum show, that of Barendans, the white Alfred, it owed to have at least some butchup's operon. Homos circas eloclanensis, his showplace at Liamby, old womany wise, Fiff! But while gleam with gloom swan here and there, this shame rock and that wispy planter, tell Podgeen Steele the Pogue and his purty Molly Vardant, in good broom Irish ara, this place is a proper, and his feast a ferial for cardinal communial. So be who would celebrate the holy mystery upon, or that the pilgrim from many lands beat end, the calm-leaved hut-caged, by that look whose gloam is sure he means business gals to empalm over. A naked yog-priest, clothed of sundust, his oaky-doked with frondus jovs, offrand to the Yuan of her own. Tasyam kuru salilacriamu, path. Bring about it to be brought about, and it will be, Loch, our lake lamented, that great lack, the city of is issuant at last. Urban and orble, through seep from sombre under wassers of Erie. Loch, oh, why, dar maiden, Ashtoreth, I say, earth's sigh to his heaven. Hills and gals, the daughters of the cliffs, responsive, longsome the samphire coast. From thee to thee, thou art it thou, that thou wast there, the like, the near, the like a nearer. Oh, so say, a family, a band, a school, a clan of girls, 15s and but 14s, by novanas and or vantads, by octets, aye, and decadendicads, by a lunary with last alone, whose every has her different from the similes with her sight. Sicut campanulae petale ferentes, they coral in carol round Botany Bay. A dream of those innocent dirly dirls, Cavan, and they all set in voices about sing music was Cavan. He, only he, it'll he, the whole clangalede. Oh, St. Wilhelminas, St. Gardenias, St. Phibias, St. Veslandruas, St. Clarindas, St. Immaculus, St. Dolores Delphins, St. Perlanthroas, St. Erin's Gays, St. Eremanivas, St. Rodaminas, St. Rudagaras, St. Drimicumtras, St. Unavestitis, St. Mintargisias, St. Michelavalses, St. Churstris, St. Cloanasciums, St. Bellavisturas, St. Santamontas, St. Ringsing Sons, St. Hedadindrades, St. Glacianivias, St. Wida Friaras, St. Thomas Abbesses, and, trema unloud, Pepet, St. Loulis O'Toole's. Prayfulness. That is the way shall one name it. The maidenogues have tinged togethering. Ascend out of your bed, cavern of a trunk, and shrine. Cathlyn's is kitchen. Sorrow's cast, Mavrone. You must extera aquarate to interirrigate all the archipelagans. The astrologer Wallaby by Tolan, who farshook our showers from Newer Land, has signed the you and the now our mandate. Melanesia waits. Be smart. One seekings. Not the lithe slender, not the broad roundish near the lithe slender, not the fair-sized full-featured to the leeward of the broad roundish, but indeed and in need the curling, perfect portioned, flower-fleckled, shapely, high-hued, delicate features swaying to the windward of the fair-sized full-featured. Was that in the air about when something is to be said for it, or is it someone in particular who will somewhereize for the whole anyhow? What does Kevin? Tell his hidings clearly. Or would to gooder, is his moral tax still his best of weapons? How about a little more goling gould? Roland's tongue he gather no must. It is the voice of Roga. His face is the face of a son. Be thine the silent hall, O Jarama. A virgin, the one shall mourn thee. Roga's stream is solence. But Cruna is in a distance. The ass of the O'Dwyer of Greyglens is a brow to base afield in his terroirs of the Pottertons for corners. The reeks around the Burley Hearth. When visited by an independent reporter, Mike Portland, to Burrow burning the latter man's restaurant, so is called the Gorton in question, he makes the following for the Durban Gazette, first coming issue. From a correspondent, anywhere, Deansday, boss of upper and lower Bigot Strade, Kiwarek, may he live for river. The Games funeral at Valley Temple, Saturnite's pomps, exhibiting that caricature of a horse, revealed by Oscar Camarade. The last of Dutch Schultz, perhaps. Pipe in Dream Close, uncovers pub history, the outrage at length. Affected mob follows in religious Sullivans. Reinvention of vestiges by which they drugged the body. Movie figure on in scenic section by Pataticus. And there, from out of the skitty, misty London, along the Canavan route, that is, with the years gone, mild beam of the wave his polar bearing, steerna among stars, trust to Thena, and you tread true turf. Comes the sorter, Mr. Hur Hansen, talking all the ways in himself of his hopes to fall in among a merry fool of maidens happing home from the dance, his nickel all ready in his knacksky fob. A passable compatriot, properly of the Grimstad galleon, old Pears Freeze, feed up to the Noxer with their geese and peas and oats upon a trencher, and the times he'd lust in wooming, but with that smile like a grace of baconing over his egg lips of the sun soon shine. Here's hearing you in a guess mask, latter man, and such an improvement, as right as the male and as fat as a fuddle. Schön, schon, schoon, the botst. A penny for your thought about. Tay, tibby, tanny, tommy, tasty, toasty, tay. Batches for baker who baxters our bread. Oh, what an ovenly odour. Butter, butter. Bring us this day's our mealy bag. But receive me, my friend sheets, from the emerald dark winter long. For this is the dos for Isle Downs, and das is it dos as zingen zingers, what the hard-working, straight-walking, stout-stamping, securely sealing officials who trow to form our GMP's postmaster, generally shave for she and slew for slee when butting their head to the pillow for a night-shared naked-shift with the altar girl they tuck in for sweepsake. Dutiful Wilker for his hides of march. Haves you the time? Hands a hike? Heard you the crime, Senny boy? The man was giddy on letties, on the jury of a jury, be pursued, weathered with entreneaus, mid-greys, dagos, tea-times, shadows, nocturnes, or Samoans, if well-stocked filler-outers, plush fever frows with dopey chunks, and this, that, and the other pigskin or muffle-kinkles, taking a pipe course or doing an anguish, seen to his fleece in after his fowl, when Dr. Chart of Great Chorzell Street, he changed his backbone at a sitting. He had not the declination, as what with the foos as wet with the fays, but so far as hanging a goobs on the proceedings, where then the lag allows, it might be anything after darks, which the deers alone they seize, and the darkies they is snuffing of the window. Dibbling, grey-anty events, hyacinths with heliotrollops, not once full vixen freakings and but double decoys. It is a labeliction on the port of the Catholic Church, and summum most a toll for it. Where is that blinkety-blanketer, that quound of a peeler, the sunt of a hunt, want foxes, good men? Where are he, our loved among many? But what does Kevin the Foster? Tyro a Tora, the novene iconostays of his bluey-grained vitroils, but begins in faint to light his legend. Let Phosphoron proclaim, Peachy, peachy. Say he that saw, him that saw, man shall sharp run to get him. Ask no more, Jerry mine, Roga's voice. No Paisurka batcha, the bog which puckerooed the posy, the vine branch of Erwaneva on Breggia's plain, where Tefia lies, is leaved in vert and fructed proper. But the public hatches end not open yet for hourly Reinser's mess. Read Higgins, Cairns, and Egan. Malthus is yet locked in close, with fun. How swathed their answer alcove makes therein. Besokers loiter on, and primilibitary solicates of lemon sodias will be absorbable. It is not even yet the engine of the load with hailed morries full of crates, you matin mummer, for dumb-bell-dumbs. Sure, and 'tis not then. The Greek sidereal roadway, as it happens, will soon be starting as smooth with its first single hasten craft. Danny buzzers, instead of the violet-coloured milk train on the far ticket plan run, with its endless galaxian of rotator rattlers, and the smooth croon our elderons remember 'em as the scream of the service, Strawberry Bess. Also the wagon wobblers are still yet ever due to precipitate after night's combustion. Aspect Seamus Roga, or Taceate, and Hagiographice Canat Ecclesia, which Aubrey our first shall show. In attendance, who is, will play That's What's That to What's That, what? Oh, yes, oh, yeses, oh, yeses, yeses. The primus of the Gauls, proto-notorious, I am as I am, mitro generand in the Free State on the air, is now a boil to blow a gale warning. In Operation Ireland's Eot Meganesia, Habitant and the 1,000 incels, western and ostern approaches. Of Kevin, of increate God the servant, of the Lord Creator of filial Fira, who given to the growing grass took to the tall timber, Slippery Dick the springy healer, as we have seen, so we have heard, what we have received, that we have transmitted, thus we shall hope, this we shall pray, till, in the search for love of knowledge, through the comprehension of the unity and altruism through stupefaction, it may again, how it may again, shearing aside the four weathers, and passing over the dainty daily dairy, and dropping by the way the lapful of live coals, and smoothing out Nelly Nettle and her lad of metal, full of stings, fond of stones, friend of new Non's bones, and leaving all the messy to look after our douche, the miracles, death, and life are these. Yad, procreated on the ultimate island of Ireland, in the encyclical Irish archipelago, come their feast of pre-created holy white-clad angels, whom among the christener of his, voluntarily poor Kevin, having been granted the privilege of a priest's post-created portable altare cum balneo, when espousing the one true cross, invented and exalted, in celibate matrimony at matin chime arose, and west from went, and came, in alb of cloth of gold, to our own midmost Glendalough Lavert, by archangelical guidance, where a middle of meeting waters of river Isya and Esya river, on this one of either's lone navigable lake, piously Kevin, lauding the triumphris Hagion, amidships of his conducible altar superbath, rafted centripetally, diaconal servant of orders Hibernian, midway across the subject lake surface, to its supreme epicentric lake isle, whereof its lake is the ventrifugal principality, whereon, by prime, powerful in knowledge, Kevin came to where its centre is, among the circumfluent watercourses of Ishgafina and Ishgafiuna, an enisled lakelet, islanding a lacustrine islet, whereupon with beached raft subdiaconal bath propter altar, with oil extremely anointed, accompanied by prayer, holy Kevin bided till the third morn hour, but to build a rubric penitential honey beehive hut, in whose enclosure to live in fortitude, acolyte of cardinal virtues, whereof the arenary floor most holy Kevin excavated as deep as to the depth of a seventh part of one full fathom, which excavated venerable Kevin, anchorite, taking counsel, proceeded towards the lake side of the islet shore, whereat several times he, eastward genuflecting, in entire obedience at sext noon collected Gregorian water sevenfold, and with Ambrosian Eucharistic joy of heart as many times receded, carrying the lustral domination contained within his most privileged altar, unacumque bath, which severally 7 times into the cavity excavated, a lector of water levels, most venerable Kevin, then effused, thereby letting there be water where was theretofore dry land, by him so concreated, who now, confirmed a strong and perfect Christian, blessed Kevin, exorcised his holy sister water, perpetually chaste, so that, well understanding, she should fill to mid-height his tub-bath altar, which hand-bath tub, most blessed Kevin, ninthly enthroned in the concentric centre of the translated water, where amid when violet Vespa veiled, Saint Kevin, hydrophilos, having girded his sable cappa magna as high as to his cherubical loins, at solemn Compline sat in his seat of wisdom, that hand-bath tub, wherever after, recreated Doctor Insularis of the Universal Church, keeper of the door of meditation, memory extempore proposing, and intellect formally considering, recluse, he meditated continuously with seraphic ardor the primal sacrament of baptism, or the regeneration of all man by affusion of water. ye. This ship's bevel to rocks right, Savre boy extinguish, nuota bene. The rare view from the three bends under the bald heaven is on the other end, asking your bliksem on dimmen and blastin', something to write home about. They were erected in a pervious century, as a hen fine coops, and if you know your Bristol and have trudged the trolley ways and elven turns of that old cobbled city, you will sort officially scribble a mental penny knock score. Whether they were Franklings by name also has not been fully probed. Their design is a household word, and the charming details of light and dark are fresh from the familiarity which breathes content. O ferax cupla, fairy pair. The first exploder to make his ablations in these parks was indeed that lucky mortal which the monster trial showed on its first day out. What will not Archy paper, anti-sidingly inked with pen mark, push per sample prof, covertly faulted when style, stink, and stigmatophoron are of one sum in the same person? He comes out of the soil very well, after all, just where old Toffler is to come shuffling along soon's Panicans start showing off her peculiar talents. A way-wrong wanderer circling to a right rare route for his plain utterrock sooks, appelled to by her fancy clavers. You plied that poker games as well as I did, while there were flickers to the floors. He may be humpy, nay, he may be dumpy, but there is always something racy about, say, a sailor on a horse. As soon as we sail him, Jean, we gates a surprise. He brings up tofa, and that is how we get to Mrs. in Masses. The old Marino tale. We veritas verity note few damned lusters, priorly magistrate maximoliant in ludibility learned. Faxt, take off that wise head. Great sinner, good sonner, is in effect the motto of the MacCowell family. The gloved fist, scrimhanska, was introduced into their sacerdotal tree before the 4th of the 12th, and it is even a little odd, all 4 horologeries still gonging, restage Jacob van de Bettel, smoking behang his pipe, with Esav of Message Postumia lintling out his borrowed chafing dish, before symbolusing the apostles at every hours of changeover. The first and last riddle-rattle of the universe. When is a nam not a nam, when as it is a... Watch! Heroes' highway, where our fleshers leave their bonings, and every Bob and Joan to fill the bumper fare. It is their signal for old Champelicid to seek the shades of his retirement, and for young chappy lassies to tear around and tease their partners' love-soft fun at Finnegans Wake. And it's tightly high, that my dig pressed in your dagsy. Nog of old Nig, me nid mig brawly, I bag your burden, me's is these knees, thee is me. We have caught oneselves, sveas neas, in some's incontiguity complex of he upon herish marriage, from whose I most sublumbinate. Apolog, my eng, excuse, on still so sovy, while on till tight. Ha! They a greening gains in schlimningen. A summer wind spring falls abated. Hail, rain of Durknas, snowly recasing. Fund lightning thund into the dim below star departamenti, whither out, soon hissed, soon missed, to the Hothe hill from the hollow. Sol's King the Frist, attempted by the admirable captive Bunting and Lieutenant Colonel Blair, will processingly show up above Tumplin Bar, whereupon he was much jubilated by Burgomaster Dick Fogg of Isols, now Isold, looking most plussed with Exhib 39, a clout-capped sun bubble, and a canponade from his bequine toss. Up. Blanchardstown Mews peppers, pleads Coppel. Gracest goodness, heave mincy upon us. Grand old man button, give your bowlers a rest. It is a mere menierism of this vague visibilities, mark you, as accorded to by moisturologists of the Britons Association for the Advancement of Science, because, my dear, mentioning of it under the breath, as in pure, what bunkum, esse and esse, there have been disselving fornenst you, just the draper, the two drawpers assisters, and the three droopers assessors confraternitizers, who are, of course, Uncle A.L.P, your two cousins from Nice, and, conject a bit now, our own familiars, Billy Healy, Ballyhooly, and Bully Howley, surprised in an indecorous position by the Sigurd Sigerson Sphygmomanometer Society for Blood Crushers. Nights more. Haven't time? Ha-ha! This Mr. Ireland? And alive? Aye, aye. Aye, aye, boss. The cry of Stena chills the vitals of slumbering off the mother has been pleased into the harms of old solicitors, measurers, soon and soon, but the voice of Alina gladdens the cockly-hearted dreamerish for that magic moaning, with its ching-chang-chap shuge cow-low milky muchy, bringing Becker Bros, the brew with the future in it. Sawest? Not? Yet, I think I saw and remember some such. A kind of a thing like all trelog, then, probably it resembles a pelvic or some quind, then props an acute-backed quadrangle with a slant off, hand, and a wench you may coddler, lying with a Royal Irish upper shoes among the thick leaves. Signs are on of a mere by token that will still to be becoming upon this there once a here was world. As the day laves, unfolding them, in the wake of the black shape, not end and sorter, when at Hindlefirth and Hundlefirth, the week of wakes is out and over, as a week walking from innumerable ashes unto fierce force fuming, tam, the Finnegans Wakes. Passing. 1, we are passing. 2, from sleep we are passing. 3, into the Wykewade's world from sleep we are passing. 4, come ours, be ours. But still, ah dear, and stay. It was also agreeable in our sine-gear clutchless, touring the no place like no time like Absalom, mixing up petty-born populace with the magnum urgentries, Floyd-haired mercenary blukers with boyd-skinned pig-tails, and gooch-lipped Gwendolens with duffy-eyed Dolores, like so many unprobables in their pursuit of the impossible, with Mata, and after please with Mata Maru, and after please stop with Mata Maruluka, and after stop do please with Mata Maruluka Johnny. And another Dapalas. He will be longing after the grogram greys, and wising Chetowli, he will level out Ministel Tram pleasure be. She-flower Rosina, younger she-flower fruit Amaryllis, youngest flower fruity fronds Salicyl or Silicel. And house with heaven roof occupanters, they are continuatingly at traverse of its milletestudinous windows, rico coursing themselves as stained glass on stone glass, in plain English, Wynn's Hotel, Branchard's Bulbeck, Old Boof, Sassendale, Jawsey, Uppygard, Mundaland, Abbeytot, Brackytwit, with Hockey Villa, Hillwill, and Walhall. Who manages the thing of Viking? Opening shortly, when the messenger of the risen sun, see other Oriel, shall give to every seeable a hue, and to every hearable a cry, and to each spectacle his spot, and to each happening her horam. The while we are waiting. We are waiting for him. Muta, quades nunc fumus iste volvuns ex domoino? Juva, it is old head of kettle, puffing off the top of the morning. Muta, he ought a bit hardly well ashamed of himself for smoking before the high host. Juva, dies is dorminus, master, and commandant ilit unabridged. Muta, diminus asta, and I could perceive amongst the gatherings whoever they woke in process. Juva, Hubada, it is the chrysanthemum lander with his porters of bonzos, pommy plonky plonk, the garrywallers, movie-overing the cabrattle field of slain. Muta, Pongo da Banza, and I would ascertain in druidful scatterings one piece tall chappie stand one piece same place. Juva, Borkili, and he is fundamentally theosophagusted over the horse proceedings. Muta, petrificationibus. Oh, Harold Haraflair, who his dickons now rearrexes from underneath the memorialorum? Juva, believe, firmly believe, fing, king. Muta, uloverum, fulgitudo eos redonum teneat. Juva, relentlessly, till the tip of his ziff, and the ubidentia of the savium is our ervix felicitas. Muta, why solely smiles the supremest with such for a leery on his rugular lips? Juva, bitch or botchum, ibridime, he has help his croon on the Berkeley by, but he has half his crown on the Eurasian generalissimo. Muta, scarkaslut, the twilight velade is thus then paradisinical? Juva, ut vivat volumen, sic pereat poradosus. Muta, haven money on stable cert? Juva, tempt to one outsider. Muta, sock? He quaffs. What? Juva, sec, water, wet. Muta, ad piabelle et purabelle. Juva, at winne warman o sings. Muta, so that when we shall have acquired unification, we shall pass on to diversity. And when we shall have passed on to diversity, we shall have acquired the instinct of combat. And when we shall have acquired the instinct of combat, we shall pass back to the spirit of appeasement. Juva, by the light of the bright reason which descends to us from the high. Muta, may I borrow that horde wander battle from you, old robberskin? Juva, here it is, and I hope it's your worming pen, Herren Monker. Shoot! Rhythm and colour at park mooting. Paradise last in the grand natural. Valley vision victor. Dobbs' new stage old-time turf tussle, recalling Winnie Willie Widger. 2 draws. Heliotrope leads from harem. 3 ties. Jockey the Ropper jerks Jake the Rape. Padrock and Buckley chapped. And here are the details. Tunk. By, Bullocky Vampus Tappany Bob's topside Joss Pigeon fella balcony, Archdruid of Eilish Chinchin Joss, in his heptachromatic 7-hued, septicoloured, roar and yell green Lindigan mantle, finish his show along his Mr. Guest Patholic, with A.L.P belong him, the whose throat hum with of same time all his Casagrona fellas of Gray's friary family, he fast all time, what time all him monkefellas, with same Patholic, quoniam, speeching, ye not speeching, no man liberty is, he drink up words, sillicet, tomorrow till recover will not, all too many much illusiones, through photoprismic velamina of hueful panepiphanal world spectacurum of Lord Joss, the of which zoantholytic furniture, from mineral through vegetal to animal, not appear to full up together fallen man than under but one photo-reflection of the several iridos gradaciones of solar light, that one which that part of it, fernit of Hupanepi world, had shown itself part of fur of Hupan war, unable to absorbere, whereas for number 1 puridoxed seer in 7th degree of wisdom of Entis Anton, he is savvy inside true inwardness of reality, the ding what in itself id est, All objects of pan-epi were, all sides showed themselves in trues coloribus resplendent, with sextuple gloria of light actually retained, antisintus, inside them, obs of epiwo. Rumnant Catholic, stereotypopticus. No catch all that preachy book. Ud piam, tomorrow, recover thing even, is not by vampsy bobsy, tappanus bullocks topside, joss pigeon fella, bill kelly, bell kelly, say pat fella, want as antis two times, health feeling, with other words, verbi gratia grading, from murmurulentus till stridulo soliria, sing long thing. While his comprehendurient, with diminishing characterism, augmentationed himself in caloripia to vision so through sighty, you anxious melancholic. High that height uber King Leary, his fiery grass belong ahead, all show colour of sorrel wood herb green. Again, nigger blanker, of thee his six-coloured home-grown worsted's costume, the his fellow's saffron petticoat look same hue of boiled spinaces. Other thing, voluntary mute his muser, he not compy-handy, the his golden two-breast talk, look just same like curly cabis, more after, to pacey negativisticists, verdant ready rain roof belong a him, ex-uber high ober King Leary, very dead, what he wished to say, spit of super ex-uber abundancy, plenty laurel leaves, after that commander Bulop and ties, of most highest Ordritza king, same thing like time choppy upon parsley, alongside that, if please sir, nos displaced tough tongue, soul of a bishopus bastard, enamel Indian gem in maledictive finger fondler of high sire sultan emperor, all same like one fellow olive lentil, on the long side that, by undescendas, kiring, violacious war one contusiones of face butts, of high up big cocky-wacky, sublissimi autocrat, for that with pure huglot intensely saturated one, tinged uniformly, all around side, up in and out down, very like you seek a chow-chow of plenty much senecasia. Hump, cumps, ebly bally. Succoat. Punk. Big seer reflects the petty padre, whackling it out, a tumble to take, triteness to call thing, and to call, if say is good while, you poor chiaroscuro black and white padanger, by this wis a posterio prismically apastrophed, and paralogically periparalyzed, celestial from principalist of Iros Iris man's ruin boon pot before, for being time monk blinkers time-blinged completamentarily murk blankered in their neutrolysis between the possible veriditude of the sager and the probable erube eruption of the saint, as my tapropinquish to me wipen myself's nose gates a handkerchief of synthetic chamois rag to him's hers, seeming such 4-3 to agreement cause heart to be might, saving to Balenoak he kneeleth, to great Balenoak he kneeleth down, to greatest great Balenoak he kneeleth down quite somely, the sound sent simple, in a weed-wade wold of the fire there, the sun and his halo cast. On man. That was thing by gutter, the thing bog cotton, the very thing begad, even to up to putty, bill killy, bell kelly, bal kelly. Who was for shouting down the shatten on the lamp of Gishi's, sweating on to stonker and throw his seventh, as he shook his thumping forefeatures at the high hop of his ards. Thud. Good save fire lamp, hail the heliots. God's self-forelamp hauled they, awed, where there on the skyfold high, tramp a die. Per ye com dum dominum nunstrum, Jesum Christums, folium tuum. Ta what? Sants and sogs, cabs and cobs, kings and cars, tents and taunts. 'Tis gone in for over. So for now, delish, pour the day, to transfixeration, feast of tabernacles, scenopedia come, shamwork be in our shining, and let every Chris couple be so cross-complementary, little eggons, yolk and milk, in a far bigger pan-cosmos, with a hearty hamium all round, God's truth. Yet is no body present here, which was not there before. Only is order othered. Naught is nulled, fuit fiat. Lo, the Lord of Laurens now aurealizing benedictively when saint and sage have said their say. A spathe of calyptrous gloom involucrumens the perinantianamenta. Fungo algaceus musco felicial gramino palmula plantion. Of infinity vivivorous, feelful thinkamelinks, luxuriotating everywhence whithersoever among skull hollows and charnel cysts of a weed waste-walled weevil. When Ralph the retriever ranges to jaw-road his nuts knuckles and her Thea's thighs. One gulp down of the nauseous forer breakfasts, of a boom around, and you're as paint and spick-span as a rainbow. Read the bowl to rid the bowel. No rancure, no rank heats are a mess in a mullium, chlorid cup. Health, chalice, endless necessity. Arrive, licky poggers in a poke. The fulgur of the fright fools is olympically optimominous. There is bound to be a love-leg day for mirages in the open. Murnane and Aveling are undertaken to bury that orchard, provided that. You got to make good that breech suit, Seamer. You going to home, port home, toiler master. You yet must get up to kill, non-particular. You still stand by and do as hit, private. While for yous, Jasminia Aruna and all your likers, affinitively must it be by you elected, if monogynes his is or hers diander, the tubus, limbersome, and nectarial. Owned or graze heifer, ethel or bonding, mopsus or gracchus, all your Herodotes will incessant lament be coming back from the Anon wishwash-hoos, Orm Pierre Lodge, Dune of the Rooms, Blanches bountifully a night's end made up, every article lathering, leaving several rinsings, so as each rinse results with a dapperant roll, cuffs for meek, and chokers for chic, and a kink in the pats for namby. For beer, for bear, for naught that is has been, in morning's land. Themes have times, and habit reburns, to flame in you, ardor, vigor, forders order. Since ancient was, our living is impossible to be delivered as. Kaffirs and culls and once again overalls, the fittest survivor lives that blued, iron, and storage can make them, which is all claims. Clean, whenest clips, close, and the man or miller clipper-clappers. Noxt, dozed. Fen sense, fin sonts are worn, tuck up those wide shorts. The pink of the busket for sheer give, peeps. Stand up to hard wear and step into style. If you soil may pute me prides. For new man morn, set a marge to the merge of our notions. Ignition once again. What has gone? How it ends? Begin to forget it. It will remember itself from every sides, with all gestures, in each our word. Today's truth, tomorrow's trend. Forget, remember. Have we cherished expectations? Are we for liberty of perusiveness? Why after, what for where? A plain-planned Lifiism assemblements, Eblania's conglomerate horde, by dim Delti Deva. Forget. Our whole mole mill-wheeling vicocyclometer, a tetradimensional gazebo croticon, the Mama Luja, known to every schoolboy scandaler, be he Matty, Marky, Lukey, or John O'Donk, autokinetonetically pre-provided with a clapper coupling smelting works ex-progressive process for the farmer, his son, and their homely codes, known as egg burst, egg blend, egg burial, and Hatch's hatch can, receives through a portal vein the dialytically separated elements of precedent decomposition for the very pet purpose of subsequent recombination, so that the eroticisms, catastrophes, and eccentricities transmitted by the ancient legacy of the past, type by tope, letter from letter, word at word, with sendents of Sundance, since the days of Cluny and Columcellas, when Jacinta, Pervenche, and Margaret swayed over the all-too ghoulish and illyrical and inhumantic in our modern nation, all anastomosically assimilated and preter-identified para-idiotically. In fact, the same old game-bold atomic structure of our Phineas the Old One, as highly charged with electrons as hot hazards can effective it, may be there for you, cock-a-lura-lura-luminos, when cup, platter, and pot come piping hot, as sure as herself pits hen to paper, and their scribings scrawled on eggs. Of course so, and in effect as dear. And we go on to dirt dump. Reverend, may we add majesty? Well, we have frankly enjoyed more than anything these secret workings of nature's, thanks ever for it, we humbly pray, and, well, was really so denighted of this lifetime. Muxrats, which bring up about Urweckers, they will come to no good. Yon clouds will soon disappear, looking forwards at a fine day. The Honourable Master Sarmon, they should be first born like he was, with a two-hangled warpon, and it was between Williamstown and the Marion Aylesbury on the top of the long car, as merrily we rolled along, we think of him looking at us yet as if to pass away in a cloud. When he woke up in a sweat beside us, it was to pardon him, Goldilocks, me having an earth, but he daydreams we had a love-lit face for a pultermine. Back we were, by the jerk of a beanstalk, backed in Paladay's last, on the brinks of the Wobblish, the man what never put a dram in the swags but milk from a national cow's. That was the prick of the spindle to me that gave me the keys to dreamland. Sneakers in the grass, keep off. If we were to tick off all that Caffler's head, whisperers for his accommodation, the Micraws, namely, and their bacon what harmed butter. It's margarine oil, tin, Strictly is it forbidden by the honorary 10th commandment to shall not bear full sweetness against a neighbour's wiles. What those slimes up the cavern door around you, keen in, the lies is coming out on them frecklefully, had the shames to suggest, can we ever? Never. So may the low forget in their trespasses against Molloyd O'Reilly, that Hogglebeddy fan, now about to get up the heartiest that Coolock ever. A naught in naught Ironishan, called Ervigson by his first mate. May all similar doubters of our old hame story have that fancied with me. For a pipe of twist or a slug of Hibernia metal we could let out, and, by jings, someone would make a carpus of somebody with the greatest of pleasure by private shootings. And in contravention to the constancy of chemical combinations, not enough of all the slatters of him left for Peter the Picker to make their 370 filths of a man out of. Good wheat! How delicious for the 3 solvans of Dalkey, and what a sell price get the 2 peries of Monachina. Sugars of lead for the chlorers ashpots. Peace. He possessing from a child of highest valency for our privileged beholdings, ever complete hairy of chest, hamps and eye bags, in pursuance to sales ladies' affectionate company, his real devotes. Wriggling reptiles take notice, whereas we exgust all such sprinkling snigs. They are pestituting the whole time, never withstanding we simply agree upon the committee of amusance, or could above bring under same notice for it to be able to be seen. About that coerogenal Hun, and his knowing the size of an egg cup. First, he was a skulksman at one time, and then Clunes fired him through guff. Be sage about sausages. Statistic shows with these hiccups of tea tables, the old firm's fat spitters are most eatenly appreciated by Metropolonians. While we should like to drag attentions to our Wolfman's Compensation Act, the magnates of our midst being foisted upon by a plethora of parachutes, did speece permit the bad example of setting before the military, to the best of our belief in the earliest wish of the one in mind was the mitigation of the king's evils. And how he stared up the step after it's the power of the gate. His giant stand of man unknown. No Brad wishy-washy what he wanted neither, Once you are ballad-proof, you are unperceivable to haily, icy, and missile throws. Order now before we reach Rugger's Rush, as we now must close, hoping to St. Lawrence all in the best. Moral, Mrs. Storrs Humphreys. So, you are expecting trouble, Pondups, from the domestic service questioned? Mr. Storrs Humphreys. Just as there is a good in heaven, Livia, my cheek is a complete blink. Plum, meaning 1, 2, 4. Fingers up the hind hose of his arse. Whereupon our best again, to 111 plus 1001 other blessings, will now concluse those apostles to your great kindest, well, for all that trouble to took. We are all at home in old Fintona, thank Danis, for our self-sake, that direst of house bonds, who'll wheel be true unto love's end, so long as we has a pottleful of brass. Impossible to remember persons and improbable to forget position places. Who would pillow his head off to conjure up a well, particularly mean stinker like fun make called Foon McCraw, brothers, mystery man of the pork martyrs? Force and Giddush. Tomothy and Lorcan, the bucket toolers, both are Timpsons, now they've changed their charactericals during their blackout. Conan Boyles will pudge the day lives out through him if they are correctly informed. Music, me owlstrow, please. Fing, one must simply laugh. Fing him again. Good licks, well, this ought to weak him to make up. He'll want all his fury gut murderers to redress him. Gillian the Gap, the big bad old sprowly all-uttering foon, has now stuffed last potting. His funeral will sneak please by creeps o'clock Tuesday. Kingen will come. Also, brew beer. Penn's picture at Mansham House Horse Garden shown in Morning Post as from Boston transcript. Femelles will be predominant as from 28 to 12. To hear that love-laid parson of case of a bald gentle male pour forth her moracles. Don't forget, the grand funeral will now shortly occur. Remember, the remains must be removed before 8 hours sharp, with earnestly conceived hopes. So help us to witness to this day to hand in sleep, from of Maya's days most duteous. Well, here's lettering you anonymously and other clerical fans alleged herewith. I wished I wast be that dumb tyke, and he'd wish it was me yonder heel. How about it? The sweetest song in the world, our shape as a juvenile being much admired from the first with native copper locks. Referring to the Married Woman's Improperty Act, a correspondent paints out that the Swiss Auburn Vogue is hanging down straight-fitting to her innocent eyes. Oh, felicious cool pose. If all the McCraws would only handle Virgils like Arms Works Limited. That's Hansel for Gertles. Never mind, Micklemans. Chat us instead. The cad with the Pope's wife, Lily Kinsella, who became the wife of Mr. Sneakers for her good name in the hands of the kissing solicitor, will now engage in attentions. Just a princh for tonight. Pale bellies, our mild cure, back and streaky 9-pace. The thick, soft Bully's Acre was got up by Sully, the Boot Lane Brigade. And she had a certain medicine brought her in a licensed victualler's bottle. Shame, thrice shame. We are advised the Waxy is at the present in the Sweeps Hospital, and that he may never come out. Only look through your leather box one day, with PCQ about 4:32, or at 8:20 to 5, with the quart of Sessions Masters and Clark, and the bevyham of Mary Reparatrices, for a good all-round Sympowderix purge, full view, to be surprised to see under the grand piano Lily on the sofa, and a lady pulling a low, and then he'd begin to jump a little bit to find out what goes on when love walks in besides the solicitous busness by kissing and looking into a mirror. That we were treated not very grand when the police and everybody is all bowing to us when we go out in all directions on Wanterland Road with my Cuberola glide. And, personably speaking, they can make their bows to my Alce, as Hilary Allen sang to the Open Nine-Nighters. Item. We never were chained to a chair, and, bite 'em, no widower whosoever followed us about with a fork on Yanks-killing day. Meet a great civilian, proud lives to him, who is gentle as a mushroom, and a very affectable when he always sits for Nenstus for his wet, while to all whom it may concern, Sully is a thug from all he drunk, though he is a rattling fine bootmaker in his profession. Would we were hereafter to lodge our complaint on Sergeant Larrisony, in consequence of which, in such steps taken, his health would be constably broken into potter's pants, which would be the change of his life by a null welchin which has been ox-bell out of Crispianity. Well, our talks are coming to be resumed by more polite conversation with 100% human over the natural bestness of pleasure after his good few mugs of humby-dum and shag. While, for whoever likes that urogenal pan of cakes, one apiece it is, thanks, beloved, to Adam, our former first Finlatter, and our grocerus churcher, as per Griffith's valuations, for his beautiful crossmess parcel. Well, we simply like their dem cheeks, the Rathgarries, wagging here about around the rhythms in me amphibed, and he being as bothered that he possibly could by the fault of the Humpty Damp. Certified reformed peoples, we may add to this stage, are profitably saying to quite agreeable deef. Here gives your answer, pigs and scuts. Hence we've lived in two worlds. He is another, he what stays under the himp of hope. The here-waker of our hame fame is his real name same, who will get himself up and erect, confident and heroic, when but young as of old, for my daily confessional, a wee one woos. Alma Livia Paula Bella. P.S. Sold your Rollo's sweetheart, and she's about fetted up now with noncery reams, and rigs out in regal rooms with the Ritzies. Rags, worn's out, but she's still her decuman amber too. Soft morning, city. Lisp. I am leafy speaking. Lisp. Faulty and faulty all the nights have fallen onto long my hair. Not a sound, falling. Lisping. No wind, no word. Only a leaf, just a leaf. And then leaves. The woods are fond always, as were we their babes in, and robins in cruise so. It is for me gould and wending, unless, away, rise up, man of the hoose, you have slept so long. Or is it only so, me sleems, on your pondered pan, reclined from cape to pede, with pipe on bowl, terce for a fiddler, sixt for Macmerias, none for a coal. Rise up now and arouse, Norvina's over. I am leafy, your golden, so you called me. May me life, yea, your golden, silve me salve, exaggerator. You did so rule, I was so charmed. But there's a great poet in you, too. Stout Stokes would take you awfully. So has he as bored me to slump. But am good and rested. Tax to you, Toddy, Tanya. Ja, ha, ha. Help unto min, help has been. Here is your shirt, the day one, come back. The stock, your collar. Also your double brogues, a comforter as well. And here your iverall, and ever the lest, your umbre. And stand up tall, straight. I want to see you looking fine for me, with your brand new big green belt and all. Blooming in the very lotus and second to nil, bud. When you're in the Buckley shoot, Rose and Sharonals near did for you, 57 3, cosh, with the bulge. Proud purse I'll be with his poor Aroon Irene, they'll. Pride, comfortousness, envy. You make me think of a wonder-decker I once, or some bart that sailed her. The man me gallant with the bangled ears, or an earl was he at Lucan, or no, it's the Iron Dukes, I mean, or sombre earths from the dark countries. Come and let us. We always said we'd, and go abroad. Rathgraney way, perhaps. The children are still fast. There is no school today. Them boys is so contrary. The head does be worrying himself. He'll trouble and he'll travel. Gulliver and Gellover. unless they changes by mistake. I seen the likes in the twinkling of an eye. Some, so oft, sim, time after time, the same as new. Two brothers doffered as north and sound. When one of him sighs or one of him cries, 'tis you all over. No peace at all. Maybe it's those two old crony aunts held them out to the waterfront. Queer Mrs. Quickenough and odd Miss Dodpebble. And when them two has had a good few, there isn't much more dirty clothes to publish, from the launders Dale mentions. One chap googling the holy boys thingabib, and this lad wetting his whittle. You were pleased as punch, recitating war exploits and persorations to them jackeen gapers. But that night after, all you were wanting, bidding me do this and that and the other, and blowing off to me hugly judsies. What wouldn't you give to have a girl? Your wish was me will, and low out of a sky, the way I too. But her, you wait, eager to choose is left to her shade. If she had only more matcher's wit, findlings makes runaways, runaways astray. She's as merry as the Greeks still. 'Twould be sore should leaden sorrow. I'll wait, and I'll wait, and then if all goes, what will be is. But let them. Slops hospotch and the slusky slut too. He's for thee what she's for me, dogging you round cove and haven, and teaching me the parts of speech. If you spun your yarns to him on the swishbark waves, I was spelling my yarns to her over cottage cake. We'll not disturb their sleeping duties. Let besoms be bosuns. It's Phoenix, dear, and the flame is here. Let's our journey Saint Michael make it, since the loss of fire has lost, and the book of the depth is closed. Come, step out of your shell. Hold up, you free thing. Yes, we've light enough. I won't take our laddie's lantern, for them 4 old windbags have got Severi to be blowing at, nor you your rock sunk. To bring all the Dannymans out after you on the hike. Send Archdruid guide us. Isma. It is the softest morning that ever I can ever remember me. But she won't rain, surely, our Ilma. Yet, until it's the time, and me and you have made the sons of bursters won in the games. Still, I'll take me old Finvara for me shoulders. The trout will be so fine at brookfished, with the taste of roly polony from blug puddles after, to bring out the tang of the tay. Is you fame for a roast brood? Ox meal to earn, all out of the wool paws. And then all the chippy young cupping jars cluttering round us, cluttering for their creams. Crying me, grown-up sister, are me not truly? List, only but, there's a but. You must buy me a fine new girdle too, Nolly, when next you go to Market Norwal. They're all saying I need it, since the one from Isaacson's slooped its line. Mrk, nurk, why art thou? Come, give me your great bear's paw, Padaravilki, falla mine tiny, Dola. Mine ninety handsy in the Langwall flows. That's Jorgen Jorgensen. But you understood, nodst? I always know by your brights and shades. Reach down a little more. So, draw back your glaive. Hot and hairy Ugon is your hand. Here's where the false skin begins. Smooth as an infant's. One time you told you'd been burnt in ice, and one time it was chemical after you taking a likeness. Maybe that's why you hold your heart as if. And people thinks you missed the scaffold of fell design. I'll close me eyes so not to see, or see only a youth in his florizel, a boy in innocence, peeling a twig, a child beside a weeny white steed. The child we all love to place our hope in forever. All men has done something. By the time they've come to the weight of old flesh, we'll lave it. So, we will take our walk Before in the temple they ring the earthly bells. In the church by the hearse yard, packs good men's will, or the birds start their tree-sturm shindy. Look, there are yours off, high on high. And, cushes, sweet good luck they're cawing you cool. You see, they're as white as the riven snake for us. Next Peter's poll you will be elected, or I'm not your illicitous bribe. The Kinsella woman's man will never reduce me. A Megara O'Culla Wirk McFuney sukadoodling and sweep-a-cheeping round the lodge of Fjorn Nagala of the trumpets. It's like potting the poor to sham on the dresser, or tamming Uncle Tim's cawbeen onto the brows of a vicar eagle. Not such big strides, hoddy-foddy. You'll crush me antelopes I saved so long for. They're penny soles, and the two goodiest shoe-shoes. It is hardly a nut smile or 7 possum butts. It is very good for the health of a morning, with bua-bua, a gentle motion all around, as leisure paces. And the help yourself to a stroll cure's easy. It seems so long since, ages since, as if you had been long far away, a far to days, a fear to nights, and me as with you in the dark. You will tell me sometime, if I can believe it so. You know where I am bringing you. You remember when I ran berrying after hucks and haws, with you drawing out great aims to hazel me from the hummock with your sling. Our cries, I could lead you there and I still buy you in bed. Let's go Dutch to Danegraven, no? Not a soul but ourselves. Time? We have loads on our hands. Till Gilligan and Halligan call again to Hooligan, and the rest of the guns. Sulligan 8, from left to right. Oh, lo-bo-bo, ye foxy thieves. The Muskers thought to bawl you out. Or the wild unicorns, Master Bugley, Captain, from the Knoll, drawls up by the door, with the Honourable Whelp and the Reverend Pointer, and the 2 Lady Pagets of Tallyhaw, Ballyhuntus, in their riddle-tight raiding hats, for to lift a hare's health to their robust, the stag, ever's the Carlton Harp. And you needn't host out with your duck and your duty cap a pole, while they reach in the glass he never starts to finish. Clap this whiz on your pole, and stick this in your ear, Wiggly. Beauties don't answer, and the rich never pays. If you were the enlarged, they'd hue and cry you. Heathtown, Harbourstown, Snowtown, Fornox, Flemingtown, Bodingtown, to the ford of Fine on Delvin. How they housed to house you after the platonic garlands. And all because, loosed in her reflexes, she seen Eric O'Rickory Corrie come handsome, with his 3 poached dogs a-leashing him. But you came safe through. Enough of that horn a corner. And old Mother Goosip. We might call on the old Lord, what do you say? There's something tells me. He is a fine sport, like the score and a mighty went before him. And a proper old promontory. His door always open for a New Year's Day, much as your own is. You invoiced him last Easter, so he ought to give us hot cockles and everything. Remember to take off your white hat, eh? When we come in the presence and say, who to two with Majesty. His is House of Laws, and I'll drop my graciest curtsy too. If the Ming Tong no go bow to me homage cow bow tow to the Mong Tang. Ceremonialness to stand lowest place be, saying, what'll you take to link to light a pike on porpoise plays? He might knight you in armour, else or daub you the first cheap Modger strape. Remember Bom Thom and you, Vim Vam von Hungerig? Oh, to form, chain and epaulets, both are bombos, and I'll be your oral highness. But we vain, plain fancies. It's in the castle's air. My current bread's full of silly motto-craft. Aloof is an oof. We can take or leave. He's reading his roughs. You'll know our way from there, surely. Flora's way, where once we led so many car couples of follieds in. Klatchka, giving Shaughnessy's mare the hilly mount of her life with her Struldeburgers. The Rolky Road a-dundering. We can sit us down on the heathery ben, me on you, in quom unconscious. to scan the arising out from Drumleek. It was there Ivora told me I had best, if I ever. When the moon of morning is set and gone over Glynnaduna, Lonu Nula, ourselves, our souls alone, at the sight of salvation, and watch would the letter you're wanting be coming, maybe, and cast ashore, that I praise for be mains of me dreams, scratching it and patching at with a prompt from a primer, and what scripts of nuts knowledges I picked up me myself. Every letter is a hard, but yours sure is the hardest crux ever. Hack an axe, hook an ox, hath an an, hath it enses. But once done, dealt and delivered, tat-tat, you're on the map. Raced on Traum scrapped from mast and boss, after rounding his world of ancient days, carried in a caddy or screwed and corked on his mudges-tossed surface. With a bob Bottleby, blob. When the waves give up yours, the soil may for me. Sometime then, somewhere there, I wrote me hopes and buried the page when I heard thy voice, Roddery Donner, so loud that none but, and left it to lie till a Christmas coming. So content me now, unbuild and be building our bank-alone cottage there, and we'll cohabit respectable. The gowan, sir, for Madam me, with a cute booble run tower for to pip up and go peep where the stars be, just to see would we hear how Jove and the peers talk, amid the soulness, till top, big master, scale the summit. You're not so giddy any more, all your ground plotting, and a little it brought, humps when you heist us and dumps when you doused us. But Sarah one of me cares a brambling ram, pomp, porter, yak. On limpity marge I've made me home, park and a pub for me. Only don't start your stunts of Donnacha's years ago again. I could guess to her name who tucked you that one, tough nut. Bold bet backwards, for the loves of St. Fintan's, before the naked universe, and the baby policeman rinsing his eye. One of these fine days, Ludy colour, you must reform again. Blessed shield, Martin, softly so. I am so exquisitely pleased about the loveliest dress I have. You will always call me leafiest, won't you, darling? Wonderful old boy. And you won't objunct to me perfume, oil of Colony, with a spot of Marashai? Its alpine smile from yester's late yesters. I am in every wind's nesters, even in halt snows, Mederscodenus, a stare of a stone. Grand old marauder, if I knew who you are, when that hark from the air said it was Captain Finson make schoolmonths, and was mate pressing for his suit, I said, are you there? Here's nobody here, only me. But I near fell off the pile of samples, as if your tinger winged ting to me here. Is that right, what your brother Milkin Braby's telling the district? You were bragged up by Brostol, because your parents would be always tumbling into his foul place, and losing her Pentecosts after drinking their pledges? Howsome endeavour, you'd done me fine. The only man was ever known could eat the crusts of lobsters. Our native night, when you twice took me for some Marian sherry, and then your German cousin, who signs hers with X's, and the beardwig I found in your clarkson bag. Fair ups, you'll play you're the king of Egypt. You certainly make the most royal of noises. I will tell you all sorts of make-up things, strangers, and show you to every simple story place we pass. Cadmiller's Folly, Belvenue, Wellcrom, Quid Superabit, Vilities Valities. Change the plates for the next course of Murphy's. Spendlove's still there, and the cannon going strong, and so is Claffy's habits end or taking, and our parish pomps a great warrant. But you'll have to ask that same Ford that named them is always snugging in your Barcelona, saying they're the best relics of Conall O'Daniel and writing Finglass since the flood. That'll be some kingly work in progress, but it's by this route he'll come some morrow, and I can signal you all flint and fern a-wrastling as we go by, and you'll sing thumb a bit and then wise your semon on it. It is all so often and still the same to me. Sniff. Only turf, Wick dear. Clay and turf. You've never forgotten bat on tarf, have you, at Broin Boru, what? Inch? Why, them's the mushrooms come up during the night. Look, acres of roofs in parshes. Dam on dam, dim in dim. And a capital part for Olympics to play at. Steady on, Cooloosus. Mind your stride or your knock, while I'm dodging the dustbins. Look what I found, a lintel pea. And look at here, this caraway seed. Pretty mites, my sweet things. Was they poor loves abandoned by whole a widey world? Nebulas for Newtown, the Eblana Magna you behazy held lumining up out of the Dublin ass. But the still Samasita, I've lapped so long. As you said, it fair takes. If I lose my breath for a minute or two, don't speak, remember. Once it happened, so it may again. Why, I'm all these years within years in suffering all believed, to hide away the tears, the parted. It's thinking of all, the brave that gave there, the fair that wore, all them that's gone. I'll begin again in a jiffy, the nick of an ad. How glad you'll be I waked you. My, how well you'll feel forever after. First we turn by the Vagger here, and then it's gooder. So side by side, turn agate wedding town, Lord men of London. I only hope whole the heavens sees us, for I feel I could near to faint away into the deeps, Anna Moore's leap. Let me lean, just a lean, if you lay. Bold, strong, big tider, all girls is we, at times. So, while you're adamant ever, whoops, that wind, as if out of nowhere, as on the night of the Epiphanites, jumps, shoots, throbst into me mouth like a bow and arrows. Lord good of the lashlands, how he whips me cheeks. See, see, here we'll reach Island Bridge, where you meet I. The day, remember? Why there that moment, and us two only? I was but teen, a Tyler's dot. The swanky suits was boosting always, sure him he was like to me fad. But the swaggerest swell of Shackville's strut, and the fiercest freak he ever followed a pining child round the sluppery table with a forkful of fat. But a king of whistlers, Sheola, when he'd prop me Atlas against his goose and light our 2 candles for our singers' duos on the sewing machine. I'm sure he squirted juice in his eyes to make them flash for frightening me. Still and all, he was awful fond to me. Who'll search for find me colours now on the hilly droops of Wicklow fells? But I read in to be continued's tale that while bluebells blows, there'll still be sealskers. There'll be others, but none so for me. Yet he never knew we seen us before, night after night, so that I longed to go to, and still withal. One time you'd stand forninst me fairly laughing in your bark and tan billows of branches for to fan me coolly, and I'd lie as quiet as a mouse. And one time you'd rush upon me darkly roaring like a great black shadow with a sheeny stare to purse me rawly. And I'd frozen up and pray for thaw. 3 times in all. I was the pet of everyone then, a principal girl, and you were the panty-mammy's Vulking courser goth, the invision of Indolond. And by Thorra, you looked it. My lips went livid for from the joy of fear, like almost now. How? How you said how you'd give me the keys of me heart, and we'd be married till death to us part. And though dev do us part, oh mine, only know, now it's me who's got to give, as Dove herself div, in this limb. And can it be it's now farewell? Alas, I wished I had better glances to peer to you through this baylight's growing. But you're changing, Akulsha. You're changing from me, I can feel. Or is it me is? I'm getting mixed, brightening up and tightening down. Yes, You're changing, son husband, and you're turning, I can feel you, for a daughter-wife from the hills again, Imla Maya. And she is coming, swimming in my hindmost, divil-taking on me tail, just a whisk, brisk, sly, spry, spink, spank, sprint of a thing there, Samir, saltering, salterella, come to her own. I pity your old self I was used to. Now a younger's there. Try not to part. Be happy, dear ones. May I be wrong, for she'll be sweet for you, as I was sweet when I came down out of me mother. My great blue bedroom, the air so quiet, scarce a cloud, in peace and silence. I could have stayed up there for always only. It's something fails us. First we feel, then we fall. And let her reign now if she likes, gently or strongly, as she likes. Anyway, let her reign, for my time has come. I done me best when I was left, thinking always if I go, all goes. 100 cares, a tithe of troubles, and is there one who understands me? One in 1,000 of years of the nights? All me life I have been lived among them, but now they are becoming loathed to me, and I am loathing their little worn tricks, and loathing their mean cozy turns, and all the greedy gushes out through their small souls, and all the lazy leaks down over their brash bodies, how small it's all, and me letting on to myself always, and lilting on all the time. I thought you were all glittering with the noblest of carriage. You're only a bumpkin. I thought you the great in all things, in guilt and in glory. You're but a puny. Home. My people were not their sort out beyond there, so far as I can. For all the bold and bad and bleary they are blamed of the sea hags. No, nor for all our wild dances in all their wild din. I can see myself among them, all and Juvia pulchrabeld. How she was handsome, the wild Amasia, when she would seize to my other breast. And what is she weird, haughty Niluna, that she will snatch from my ownest hair? For 'tis they are the stormies, ho, hang, hang, ho, and the clash of our cries till we spring to be free. Aura voles, they says, never heed of your name. But I'm loathing them that's here and all I loathe, lonely in me loneness, for all their faults. I am passing out. Oh, bitter ending. I'll slip away before they're up. They'll never see, nor know, nor miss me. And it's old, and old, it's sad, and old, it's sad and weary. I go back to you, my cold father, my cold, mad father, my cold, mad fairy father, till the near sight of the mere size of him, the moils and moils of it, mourn and owning, makes me sea silt salt sick, and I rush my only into your arms. I see them rising. Save me from those terrible prongs. 2 more. 1, 2 Mormons more. So, Ave Lava. My leaves have drifted from me, all, but one clings still. I'd bear it on me to remind me of, so soft this morning hours. Yes, carry me along, Taddy, like you done through the toy fair. If I seen him bearing down on me now, under white spread wings like he'd come from archangels, I think I'd die down over his feet, humbly-dumbly, only to wash up. Yes, Tig, there's where. First, we pass through grass, be hush the bush to. Whish, a gull. Gulls, far calls, coming far. End here. Us, then. Finn, again. Take, but softly, remember me, till thousands thee. Oops. The keys to, given, Away alone, alas, A loved along thee. Paris, 1922 to 1939.